Ever wondered what really happened to Grigori Rasputin, the mysterious figure known as the Devil Incarnate? Prepare to be captivated as we delve into the depths of one of history's most enduring mysteries. From his rise to power, his controversial influence over the Russian monarchy, to the chilling events that led to his untimely demise. But hold on to your hats, because there's more to this story than meets the eye, so stay tuned. Rise of the Mystic. Alright, buckle up, because we are about to embark on a journey into the fascinating life of Grigori Rasputin, the man who would become known as the Devil Incarnate. Imagine this, it's the late 19th century in Russia, a time of sweeping change and social upheaval. In the heart of Siberia, a humble peasant named Grigori Rasputin is born into a world of hardship and poverty. But Rasputin is no ordinary peasant. Sure, he leads a simple life, but it's until he reached the age of 28, when it's alleged that he had a religious awakening during a pilgrimage, and after that he became a wandering, self-proclaimed holy man. It was his conversion to the Russian Orthodox Church in the 1890s, where he was inspired by the humbled monks that wandered endlessly from holy site to holy site. But from a young age, he displays an uncanny ability to heal the sick and ease the suffering of those around him. Rasputin captures the attention of those who cross his path, drawing them into his orbit with an almost hypnotic allure. As rumors of his miraculous healing powers spread, Rasputin's reputation began to earn him the nickname the Mad Monk among the villagers. But it's not just his ability to perform miracles that sets Rasputin apart, it's his unorthodox approach to spirituality and his willingness to challenge the status quo. Despite his lack of formal education, Rasputin delves into the teachings of the Orthodox Church, seeking answers to life's deepest mysteries. But it's his encounters with the mystical sect known as the Klists that truly shape his beliefs, introducing him to a world of divine ecstasy and spiritual enlightenment. He spent years on pilgrimages across Russia, where strangers were captivated by Rasputin's magnetic presence and his mystical gifts of prediction and healing. Despite Rasputin's heavy drinking, petty theft, and promiscuity, rumors of strange occult rituals, and belonging to a mysterious cult, his reputation as a monk quickly spread beyond Siberia and attracted both laypeople and powerful Orthodox clergymen. The Tsar's Confidant. As Rasputin's fame grows, so too does his ambition. He sets his sights on the imperial court in St. Petersburg, convinced that he is destined for greatness, and fate, it seems, is on his side. When word reaches the ears of Tsar Nicholas II and Tsarina Alexandra that Rasputin might possess the power to heal their ailing son, Alexei, they are desperate for his assistance. Picture this, it's the early 20th century and Russia is on the brink of revolution. The Romanov dynasty is teetering on the edge of collapse, and Tsar Nicholas II and his family are desperate for a miracle to save their empire. Enter Grigori Rasputin, a mysterious Siberian mystic with a reputation for performing miracles and wielding immense influence. Rasputin's journey to the heights of power begins when he catches the attention of Tsarina Alexandra, who is desperately seeking a cure for her son Alexei's hemophilia. Despite the skepticism of the royal court, Alexandra sees Rasputin as her last hope and invites him to the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg. From the moment Rasputin enters the palace, he exerts a powerful influence over the royal family, charming them with his mystical aura and convincing them of his divine abilities. With each successful healing of Alexei's condition, Rasputin's hold over the Tsar and Tsarina grows stronger, until he becomes an indispensable advisor and confidant. Today, we know that the doctors had prescribed aspirin to the young prince, a drug that worsens hemophilia. Oh, and did we mention the prophecy? After this incident, Rasputin made a prophecy. If he died, or the royal family deserted him, both their son and their crown would soon be gone. And so naturally, the family weren't letting their new savior go anywhere. But Rasputin's newfound power doesn't sit well with everyone. The Russian nobility, already wary of his peasant origins and unorthodox beliefs, view him with suspicion and resentment. They see him as a threat to their own influence, and seek to undermine his influence at every turn. Outside the royal family, people had mixed views on Rasputin. On one hand, peasants regarded him as one of their own, amplifying their often unheard voice to the monarchy. But nobles and clergymen came to despise his presence. Meanwhile, Rasputin's behavior becomes increasingly erratic and scandalous. He indulges in drunken revelry, engages in illicit affairs, indulging in drunken orgies, seducing noblewomen, and flaunting his power with reckless abandon. He also flaunts his influence over the royal family with reckless abandon. Rumors of Rasputin's debauchery and corruption spread like wildfire, fueling public outrage and further eroding the Tsar's already fragile authority. But despite the mounting opposition, Rasputin remains firmly entrenched in the inner circle of power, his hold over the Tsar and Tsarina seemingly unshakable. The Tsarina at this point even considers him a prophet. His ability to manipulate the royal family and exploit their vulnerabilities makes him a force to be reckoned with, and his enemies grow increasingly desperate to rid themselves of this charismatic interloper. As tensions escalate and the empire edges ever closer to collapse, Rasputin's role in Russian politics over the next 10 years becomes increasingly controversial. The plot thickens, and the first assassination attempt. Rasputin, the man who seemingly holds the fate of the Russian Empire in his hands, is blissfully unaware of the web of deception closing in around him. But his enemies are gathering their forces, determined to put an end to his reign. But who are these enemies, you ask? Well, they came from all walks of life: disgruntled nobles, ambitious politicians, and even members of the royal family itself. Each one has their own reasons for wanting Rasputin out of the picture, whether it's to protect their own interests, restore stability to the empire, or simply rid the world of a dangerous madman. Meanwhile, Rasputin's influence over the Tsarina Alexandra continues to grow, and despite their best efforts to poison her mind against him, Rasputin's hold over the Tsarina remains unshakable, leaving his enemies frustrated and desperate for a way to break the spell. So attempts were made to curtail his power, and the first assassination attempt was on July 12, 1914. A 33-year-old deeply religious peasant woman called Kionia Guseva stabbed Rasputin in the stomach while he was visiting his home village of Pokrovskoye. Rasputin was surprisingly just seriously wounded and nearly died. Guseva claims that Rasputin was a false prophet and an antichrist. She was later judged insane and sent to a mental asylum for her crime. Rasputin's assassination and the Night of Reckoning. We're diving headfirst into the heart-pounding events of the night that would seal Grigori Rasputin's fate once and for all. It's the moment of truth, the culmination of months of planning and scheming. By the end of World War I, everyone was convinced the only way to maintain order was to eliminate this sham of a holy man. World War I was going badly for Russia due to poor leadership and logistical problems. But December 1916, its armed forces were on the brink of collapse. During this time, both Rasputin and the royal family had become incredibly unpopular. Many feared that Rasputin's influence over the royal family was seriously affecting the war effort, so a group of nobles and politicians plotted to kill him, led by Prince Felix Yusupov and Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich, hatch a daring plan to rid Russia of its most infamous mystic once and for all. Picture this: the stage is set at Yusupov Palace, a lavish setting befitting the drama that is about to unfold. Rasputin, ever the willing guest, arrives at the palace, blissfully unaware of the danger lurking in the shadows. As he enters the opulent halls, he is greeted by Yusupov himself, who plays the role of the gracious host with practiced ease. But behind the facade of hospitality lies a sinister plot, as Yusupov and his comrades prepare to spring their trap on the unsuspecting Rasputin. As the night wears on, tensions reach a fever pitch, as the conspirators bide their time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And then, finally, the moment arrives, and Rasputin is offered cakes and wine, laced with deadly cyanide. The conspirators hold their breath, their eyes fixed on Rasputin as he takes a sip of the poisoned wine, unaware of the lethal dose coursing through his veins. What happened next is open to debate, because Rasputin was always seen by the public as a mysterious figure with almost superhuman powers. The most popular account about his death says that as the seconds tick by, a sense of unease begins to settle over the room. Rasputin shows no signs of distress, just drunkenness, no hint of the agonizing death that should be consuming him. Panic sets in among the conspirators as they realize that their plan has failed, that Rasputin's mystical powers have once again defied their best efforts to end his life. Desperate and running out of options, guess what happens? Yusupov resorts to more drastic measures, pulling out a revolver and firing multiple shots at Rasputin in a last-ditch attempt to finish the job. After which, Prince Yusupov leaves the palace with the other co-conspirators, one of whom was wearing Rasputin's hat and coat in the hope that it would give the impression that Rasputin had left the palace to return home. But wait, there's more. A short while later, the princes return to the palace, and much to his surprise, the supposedly dead Rasputin leapt up and attacked them, after which he staggered into the palace courtyard, where it is said that he was shot 2 more times. It is then also claimed that Rasputin was beaten by Prince Yusupov with a dumbbell, and in the early hours of the morning of December 30th, 1916, was carried to a nearby bridge and thrown into the freezing river below. So in the end, it's not the cyanide or the bullets that bring about Rasputin's demise, but the icy waters of the Neva River into which his lifeless body is unceremoniously dumped. Aftermath and conspiracy. It is said that after he was dumped in the river, Rasputin was last seen very much alive, thrashing about in the freezing cold water as he floated downriver, clinging to a lump of ice. It was 2 days later, on January 1st, 1917, where his dead body was found under the ice-covered river approximately 650 feet downstream from the bridge. But some of the details of his murder may have been untrue or exaggerated. What we do know for certain from the official autopsy carried out on Rasputin's body was that he had been shot 3 times, and one of those shots was in the forehead at very close range, and was possibly the cause of his death. And very shockingly, that the coroner could find no trace of any poison anywhere in his body. Why? We don't know. He also concluded that Rasputin was most likely dead when his body was dropped into the river. There were also deep cuts and bruising on his body, but they were not believed to be from a beating, but when his body was dumped into the river through a fishing hole that had been carved into the iced-over river. Oh, and Prince Felix, Yusupov, and Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich's role in Rasputin's murder was quickly discovered. Queen Alexandra was so angered by the murder that she wanted both of them shot straight away by the firing squad, without trial. But instead, Prince Yusupov was exiled to his country estate, and Archduke Pavlovich was sent to serve in a Russian army garrison in Persia. Talk about being a Nepo baby. But wait, what if everything we thought we knew about Rasputin's demise, from his mysterious origins and powers to his assassination attempts, were just the tip of the iceberg? Join us in the next episode as we delve deeper into the mysteries surrounding not just this infamous figure, but many others. Don't miss out, hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to comment about what other stories you'd like to see next.